So I was reading an article the other day, and it was on this woman that worked as an end-of-life carer in like a hospice. Her name is Bronnie Ware. She documented some of the most common regrets that people had when they are at the end stages of their lives. And I wanted to bring that here to you guys so we can unpack it together and also maybe help us to prioritize what really matters in life. These regrets, they often were about the things that they didn't do, the words that they left unsaid, the paths that they didn't take. And I think thinking about that now can be a real gift, a chance to learn and maybe make some different choices for ourselves. And so with open hearts and with open minds, let's explore this together. Okay, so one of the most frequent regrets that she heard was, I wish I had more courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And I want us to just close our eyes for a second and really allow that to resonate. Really feel that. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life that others expected of me. Imagine being at the end of your life and realizing you spent most of it trying to please others, to fit into a mold that really wasn't you. Maybe you pursued a certain career because it seemed sensible, even though your heart longed for something else. Maybe you hid parts of yourself to be accepted. And I think that is just a crying shame. Your life is yours. And that inner voice, or that feeling of what's truly right for you, is so important to listen to. Even if it feels scary or different, even if it feels like you're going against the grain. It takes courage to be yourself. But the regret of not doing that. Another regret that came up often was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Now, I don't believe that this is about not having goals or wanting to be lazy. I think it's about being able to find balance. Imagine all of the precious moments that you miss. Birthday parties, family barbecues, a beautiful sunset that you didn't stop to see, a hobby that you've always wanted to try. When work takes over everything, those little pieces of life, the ones that often bring the most joy and the most connection, they can slip away. This regret reminds us that our time is so valuable, and life is not just about what we achieve professionally, but about the love we share and the life that we experience outside of work. And then there's this one that I think a lot of us probably will resonate with, and I hope that this inspires someone to change. Actually, I pulled an oracle card and it's literally right here. Which one is it here? I've got 3. No. It's about to drop. Right, so this one. And I don't know if you can see what it says at the bottom, but it says brazen. Be brazen. And I think, especially in Caribbean culture, there is this, she too brazen, she brighty. And it's things like that that sometimes can cause us to go into our shells, which sometimes can make us feel that our feelings and our opinions aren't important, that there's something wrong with being brazen. And the fact that this regret is, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. You can do so much damage to your body when you suppress emotions, when you suppress or when you swallow your truth, your voice. Maybe you do it because you don't want to rock the boat. You want to avoid conflict. But imagine the weight of all those unsaid words, all the love, the anger, the hurt that was never shared. I think this regret highlights how vital it is to communicate honestly and openly. It allows us to build connections. It allows us to be understood and takes a huge burden off our hearts. And then this one, it speaks to the beauty of connection. It says, I wish I stayed in touch with my friends. Life gets busy and sometimes connections do fade. But imagine looking back and realizing that those precious bonds just faded away. Sometimes it can be things like anxiety that makes us not answer back the text message, or not reach out, or not want to call, or not answer the call. Sometimes life gets busy, but ultimately When you find good friends, when you have a good tribe, they can really be like anchors in a storm. And making an effort, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to stay connected, to nurture those relationships, ultimately brings so much richness and support to our lives. And finally, this one I think is really, really profound. I wish I had let myself be happier. It really makes you think about how many times we might put conditions on our happiness. I'll be happy when. Or sometimes we might even try to limit our happiness because we feel guilty for the joy that we feel. But I want you to know that happiness isn't a reward that we have to earn. It's a choice that we can make, that we get to make. It's about allowing ourselves to feel joy even when the things are small, to try and find the light even when things are tough. These regrets shared are from the very edge of life, and they are such powerful reminders for us now. They're not meant to make you feel sad, but to really make us think, what truly matters? What kind of life do we want to look back on? Life is precious, and every moment is a chance to choose a path that feels true to our hearts. Let's learn from these lessons and strive to live a life that's more intentional. Let's strive to have more courage. Let's be more brazen. Let's find more connection. Let's find more joy, because we all are worthy of a life filled with love and authenticity. And remember, you are powerful beyond measure. Keep showing up for yourself, and I'll be here to cheer you on. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.